What's up, pod pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School, the show where I teach podcasters how to love their podcast like a hobby and build it like a business. This is a very special podcast audit episode with my new pod pal, Joshua, from the World Language Classroom podcast. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Hey, hello. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I've got some ideas for you. You filled out some info for me. But I just want to make sure that I'm totally dialed in. So let's set a big goal here. 6 months from today, you are really experiencing great momentum. Paint that picture for me. Like what would happen? What would have to happen between now and then for you to feel like, oh man, I've got some great momentum going?
Yeah. Well, I always like to have the idea of continued growth. That's always something that's sort of there. But I have been doing a lot of consulting over the last couple of years, specifically in schools. I'm a teacher. And when I do that, I work with departments. And that's usually a high ticket offer there when you're working with districts. The thing is that the majority of my listeners are teachers within schools, and they actually don't have the pull to get their administration and school board to pay for that. So I would like to, within 6 months, be focusing more on individual teachers and what that price point is and what that value is for them, rather than looking at the big picture district level stuff.
Okay. I feel good about this. This is what I had my idea. I've got a big idea for you.
Okay.
And I feel good about it because one thing I know is that teachers are very networked in with each other. Like they're plugged in. They communicate well with each other. And they talk. You go to the break room, whatever, you talk about stuff like
Right.
you got to kind of escape from the classroom a little bit. I feel like if I were you, if I was in your business shoes, what I would do is create some sort of membership or even membership group coaching, mastermind-ish feel, whatever you label it, for teachers that is super cost effective. Like they can afford this on a teacher's salary and it's helping them level up and they're getting that group experience. And that's kind of like, I like recurring revenue streams. That I'm a big fan of that, to where, getting a big consulting gig, that's great, but then that is there and then it kind of goes away. And I like building up on the other side of that recurring revenue streams where it's like, all right, now this money is there every month. I don't have to go out and chase a new sale for that income for the most part. So what I would do if I were you is go, okay, now we've got this, very affordable group offer for teachers. Within that, we start farming for referrals for the departments, the admins, and I would reward them with something just for the connection, whether it leads to business or not. So, teachers a lot better than me, but is it swag? Is it coffee? Is it money? Is it fame and fortune? Like, I don't know. And maybe it's something a little different each month. So you always kind of keep it fresh. Like, oh, our referral bonus this month is, I'm going to buy you a month's worth or a week's worth of Starbucks or something. If you just connect me with somebody and I get in the door with your administration, then if it comes through, you have a set monetary affiliate. Basically, they're becoming affiliates for you. So it comes through. All right, now you're getting a 10% kickback or whatever you think. Honestly, what I would do is I would just be like, what would be a super exciting kickback for them? And just add that to the price of what you're already charging. So like, just for example, if you're charging $2,000 and you want to give them $500, you think that would get them really fired up, then I would just up it to $2,500. An administration that, a $500 difference isn't going to be a huge deal. And then you go, all right, if they buy this $2,500 consulting package, you're getting $500 as a thank you. And you're getting a free week of coffee from me just for setting up the connection. So I would see that as like almost like the membership, take a certain percentage of that, add it into the monthly prize package giveaway. They're doing the marketing and connections for you. It's going to be way more effective than running like Facebook ads or something like that.
Right.
And then that funnels into the departments. Now we can even turn this switch and make it flow in the opposite direction. Now that you have all this group stuff, you could, approach them. I'm thinking, all right, you've got your consulting gig, they hire you. On the backside of that, you could say, well, I've got this membership for teachers. If you want to gift a department, a month membership or a 3-month membership or whatever, or you could offer just like some group coaching for, whatever. Like, I think I would look at the other side of that as well. So we have, like, when I'm looking at this, like in funnel form, we get teachers in at the lower ticket they can afford. They refer us up into the higher ticket with the admins and people that are the decision makers that will hire you for that, the consulting, and then off the back edge of the consulting, there's more group stuff or even the same group stuff that it funnels all back in. And I would also offer some sort of referral bonus for teachers that bring teachers into the membership. Like with my Download Growth Club, that's a $97 a month membership. And any member that refers another member gets 25% every single month. So they can get up to $25 every month if that person stays active just for bringing them in. So something like that, it's like I said, teachers are chatty and they know other teachers, and if somebody's getting benefit out of it, they're talking about it. And there's like the fear of missing out is legit in that space. Like, oh, I got to do this too. Like, I used to be in fitness and we would do some fitness programs within school systems. And man, you would get one teacher that lost like 20 pounds. All of them are there. They all want to do it, and they're there at 6 a.m. for the boot camp. Yeah. So that was my focus. I'm like, just get a result for one, and then the rest will follow. So that's my general big idea. We can work on some nuances, but how's that all feeling so far?
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm always in the trenches. I have questions to make it work kind of thing. Can I ask a couple of those?
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
So in talking about either a course or a membership or mastermind, are you seeing that as evergreen where people can join at any time, or doing an open cart, closed cart? How do you envision that?
I would keep it open and very simple. Like, even if you just had a low ticket price point month to month, and it was just like almost like a support group or a think tank. Like, I like the word think tank in this realm because it's a place where teachers can come to get some synergy with other educators and learn what's working, what's not working, and who's doing what to improve. Maybe it's a guest speaker, and then you can kind of slowly build out a course from that, where all the different sessions are uploaded and saved in a video library. And that becomes this like course asset, but the real asset is the monthly meeting. Maybe it's a monthly group session and then a monthly guest. So twice per month, you hop on Zoom for an hour, low ticket. Like my buddy Scott does this in the real estate space, and he charges $97. And they just meet up once a month, and that's all they do. That's simple. Now he can charge $97, and I think he's got like 400 people doing this, which is crazy money. But he's teaching them how to make money in real estate. So if you're teaching them how to make money, you can charge more. But maybe there is some career advancement stuff in there, and there is some like, there's different topics you could rotate around each month and be like, increasing the tools of the trade, continuing education, career opportunities, even like social media stuff like LinkedIn profile. You could have like, I could see a LinkedIn person come in and doing like a LinkedIn profile audit as a guest speaker, and they do it for you. So you get like that nice little bonus, or maybe that's a referral bonus, like little things like that. You can go, oh, and so-and-so spoke last month, and guess what? This next month's referral bonus, if you get me in with somebody, they're going to do a LinkedIn audit for you, and they'll do that for free, most likely, because that's a great little promotion for their, whatever their service is. So little things like that, but I would just keep it super simple, create that video library. And as that video library grows, that's an asset in and of itself. That could become a standalone course, or that's the reason after a year, you've got, if you do 2 meetings a month, that's 24 videos in there. All of a sudden you can raise your price up a little bit, because now we've got another value add in there with all these, these recorded video sessions with the group coaching and the guest speaking. So how's that feeling so far?
Yeah, it's great. I'm taking notes about looking at the fact that I had a very narrow vision of what this membership would look like. And as you were talking through that, so I'm a language teacher. I work with language teachers, but as you were going through, oh, your LinkedIn profile, that it actually can be much more of an experience beyond just quote unquote language teaching, that
Yeah.
there's more in there for teachers.
Yeah. Well, you want to think about, and maybe this just helps. Sometimes it helps to get that perspective of somebody that's not in your niche, outside looking in. I'm thinking, all right, if I'm an educator, what am I looking to improve upon? One is career status, leveling up, more importance, more prestige, making more money, taking care of my family, better schedule, better hours, whatever. But then there's also becoming a better educator in and of itself, and acquiring and leveling up my own skill set, and then getting better results for my students. So I feel like those are 3 lanes that you could teach in. And if this is, a year, you look at a year calendar, you could rotate through those 3 topics month to month to month as a focus point, and you'll get 4 cycles of those throughout a year. I really like that. Like, it's now you're kind of building your signature protocol of we're going to help you level up in these 3 core areas: career development, skill set development, and better communication and implementation with your students or whatever. Right. Student results, personal results, career results, basically. I think that's going to be attractive, because then you get the teachers thinking bigger picture of like, ooh, Joshua's going to help me, get that promotion or whatever it is. And I mean, you could even do little hot seats. So my sister-in-law is in education, and she's been like fighting for this, promotion, and she's been up for it. And finally the one lady retired, and now she's kind of doing interviews. And it's almost like I could see somebody in that position when they think they're next, like the next in line hot seat. Like, how do we make sure that you get the job, that you get the promotion, that your resume is on point? Have a guest speaker come in to just dive deep on resume building. And that's where like the LinkedIn profiles and like kind of like the social proof sort of a thing, references, having all that's huge value, because if they get that promotion and maybe they wouldn't have before, holy cow. And then you, Joshua, got to grab these testimonials, bro. Like like that kind of thing happens. Like, I did the membership, I got the promotion, here's what happened. Joshua had me ready because of X, Y, Z. I feel like you could be kind of the go-to guy, not only in the language, department space, but just in the education space. But obviously, like focusing on the language niche within education, there's plenty there. As you know, like there's a lot there that you can dive into. So
the long range on it is, looking at 6 months to a year, that I can focus on the individual teacher, but then knowing that the money comes when you're helping people make money. The money doesn't come when you're just helping people to be great teachers. I mean, some money, but what I'm also thinking is then having some sort of program to teach teachers to be consultants in schools. So the more I'm doing this and the more I'm learning, then that course will come later on, and that will be the helping you make money.
Yes. And I feel like that's your mastermind, because all of a sudden, let's say you have people in your membership for a year and you help them get that promotion, and they're like, oh my gosh, like Joshua really knows this stuff. I'm getting tremendous benefit from this. Then you do a 5 to 10 seat beta group mastermind, and you go, okay, at the beginning of the year, we're going to do a 6-month mastermind, and it's all about you. Basically, well, the way I do it in my industry is thinking about becoming the coach of your competitors. Like, there's a lot of people in the podcasting space, like editors and social media people and podcast coaches. I have so many of them that listen to my show and follow me and subscribe, and they'll come on and they'll hire me and stuff. So I'm like, I want to be the coach of who other people consider to be my competition. So if you can level up an educator into the consultant space, it's kind of a similar thing. And that is a higher ticket or at least mid ticket thing where you can level up and be like, all right, here is how we do this. And
Mhm.
that's where you could potentially kind of take your business model outside of the language department and go,
Right.
okay, here's how we do this and reproduce it in any niche within the education system.
Mhm.
So yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. So, of course, listening to your podcast religiously and following everything
Thank
that you
you.
say to do, thank you so much. I actually did a podcast survey about 2 months ago and got wonderful feedback from my listeners. And one of the things I asked was, would you be interested in a teacher coaching type episode? Positioning myself as the expert, as you always say. And the overwhelming response was yes. And then the next question I said, well, what's your name and email if you'd be interested? And I got 37 teachers that wanted to do that. So that was a
Yes.
direct result of listening to you say that over and over and over again. So thank you.
Well, and that's going to be amazing expert positioning. I mean, it's exactly what we're doing here. Now, the really interesting question that I want you to think about that's really got my wheels turning is like, where do we lean with this coaching? Because I really like this idea of positioning you as the guy to come to when you want to level up your career as an educator and get paid, like max it out, get paid more and really climb the education corporate ladder, so to speak. So like I would, obviously, you have those three lanes. You've got student results, you've got personal skill set, and you've got career advancement. And that's very similar to what I do with this type of a thing for Podcasting Business School. We talk about download growth, audience engagement, making money. But we tend to only focus on one of those things. Kind of like with you, we're building out all this monetization stuff
Mhm.
because, a 30-minute session, I'd rather go deep than wide. So I would offer those up. But man, I would find it fascinating if you started really leaning into the career advancement things. I feel like that's where the dollar signs are for you long
Mhm.
term. So anyway, in the onboarding, like you filled out onboarding information for me before this session, you want to ask them specifically, like if you only could, or maybe not if you only could focus on, maybe have them ask them about some sort of a goal for each one of those lanes.
Mhm.
And like what's holding you back here, and then you can kind of pick and choose your moments and what you want to focus on. So,
Mhm.
but I definitely, if the opportunity arises and somebody wants to talk career advancement, I would jump all over it because I think that will be that'll bring your unique Joshua aspect
Mhm.
that separates you from a lot of the other education podcasts because
Mhm.
that's going to make the ideal clients come to the surface.
Mhm.
Because when you're thinking about it, we want that money and career motivated educator to come forward and raise their hand and be like, yes, I'm your person, Joshua.
Mhm.
Let's do one of these coaching sessions. I want to do your membership. I want to do your mastermind. So I think that would be really interesting. Now, have you thought about names of the session yet? Because that's an important thing too. We don't want to just call it free coaching. That's going to be
Mhm.
as we market it. So any thoughts cross your mind as far as naming goes?
Well, very specifically in the language teacher space, we talk about proficiency levels and leveling up within proficiency levels. So I was thinking I have this list of a couple right now, but I'm leaning towards leveling up.
Nice.
And
Okay.
it also has that career advancement piece you were just talking
Yep.
about in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sign up for a free leveling up session. You get to be a guest on my show where we talk about leveling up your skill set, leveling up your student results, and leveling up your career advancement opportunities.
Yes.
Love it. That all fits, man. I mean, just having
Yeah,
that
that's
framework.
starting to make that bridge now, the career advancement, which I totally wasn't thinking of. So now we will do the language stuff because that's why everyone's listening,
Yeah.
but it's also starting to position as the consultant for the career advancement.
Yeah.
Love that.
I mean, I like that. And, you know, creating your signature framework like that and kind of the lanes that you operate in, well, I'd say about half of the creative people that I run across they hate it and half like it, but I feel like it's something we should all strive for. Like, it's not boxing ourselves in. It's like clearly communicating how the heck we can best help somebody. Some people are like, I don't want to box myself. I don't want to talk about all things language. And I'm like, we can still talk about all things language, but we got to clearly define and carve out our special niche, because that's when people go, oh, this is my person. This is my thing. This is the conversation that I needed to have. Holy cow. Like when people come on for a podcast audit, for the most part, they know I'm usually not talking about like sponsorships and stuff like that. I'm not talking about what microphone you should use. There's lots of podcasts about audio tech and all that. I really thrive and am unique with my ideas around making money and growing your audience and kind of doing both at the same time. So you find the right audience that turn into your best customers. So, we'll just be thinking through that filter all the time. Like, how can I really clearly define exactly who it is that I help, how I help them, the journey that I'm taking them on. So I think that 3-lane framework, I think that's going to help you get there. Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great.
I feel good about this, Joshua. I don't want to mess it up by adding any other tips, because I'm like, this is good. This is a moneymaker for you. I cannot wait to see what you do with this. I think it's going to be special and unique in your space. So shout out your show, your website, social media. Where can people get in touch with you if they want to come check out what you got cooking?
Yeah, so I'm Joshua Cabral, and I'm World Language Classroom, and I'm WL Classroom everywhere, under every stone, on every social media. I am WL Classroom. I'm WLClassroom.com, so you can find out about helping students to communicate with confidence and grow in language proficiency, and also advancing your career, coming really soon to a podcast near you.
Leveling up in all 3 zones. Love it. All right, everybody, if you're out there listening in, you're like, wow, that was pretty damn good. I'd love to do one of those. Go over to the website, www.podcastingbusiness.school. Get on my calendar for a podcast audit, and you can sit in this seat, and hopefully we can create some special content together. And with that, my pod pals, I appreciate you for tuning in, and I'm going to send you out into the world wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see you next time.